Millionaires work for profits. The middle class work for wages. What's up, guys? Travis Peters here, and we are going through the book together, The Top 10 Distinctions Between the Millionaires and the Middle Class by Keith Cameron Smith. This tiny little green book is very, very powerful. And what I'm doing is I'm taking the lessons that I've learned as a business coach and consultant for the last several years to millionaires, multimillionaires, decamillionaires, and I'm bringing that knowledge over here to the Christian space, to the church world, because unfortunately, there's not a lot of this training over here in the kingdom. All right, so I'm going to bring a lot of this knowledge and my experience over here. We're going to back it up in the Word. We're going to read great books like this together. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell because I got tons of these videos coming out. You don't want to miss a single one because we want to change your thinking so we can change your results. All right, now, and if you're brand new here, head over to financialincrease101.com. There's also links in the description. We've got a free guide for you, a little mini course that's going to show you how to master your money, dominate your finances, and escape the budgeted life. Every other program out there puts you in the budgeted life. We're the only ones teaching you how to escape it, how to live big now and later. It's a ton of fun, and it's a great way to live. I invite you to check it out. It's free. Okay. Now, the millionaires work for profits, and the middle class works for wages. This is a powerful one. Remember what a job stands for? J-O-B, just over broke. He talks about it here too. People who work for wages end up earning enough to live on, but not much more. And even highly paid people live this way, which there are very few. There are very few salary people who are actually making a lot of money. I believe one of the highest paid professions in the world is an anesthesiologist. And several others in the medical field. And you could be some kind of CEO or higher level executive and maybe make 200 grand a year, 300 grand a year, or at max maybe 400 grand a year. It doesn't really matter. If you're on a salary, typically what happens is you end up spending about as much as you make. I've seen that shake out. I've known doctors who've made 35 grand a month and they're living paycheck to paycheck. It happens. I know a lot of you listen like, oh my goodness, 35 grand a month. I could never. You could do that. You could get back into paycheck to paycheck living because you make 35 grand a month. You're going to go upgrade your house. You're going to go upgrade your cars. You've been wanting a boat for like 15 years. You're going to go grab that boat. And then guess what? You want a boat. You got it parked at the lake. You might as well get that lake house because you make 35 grand a month. You know it's great at a lake house because there's all these hills going up around it. You probably want to get that motorcycle you've had your eye on because, man, it's going to be beautiful flowing through those winding roads. And then next thing you know, you're living paycheck to paycheck. I've seen it. And look, I like all those things. I want all those things. It's great to have all those things. Not knocking it, but we're going to have to get increase minded so that we can have those things without living paycheck to paycheck. All right. People who work for wages end up earning enough to live on, but not much more. It's rare for someone to make enough money from an hourly or salary position to become financially free. You have to know this. Millionaires understand this, and they choose to work for profits instead of wages. Wages are the pay you receive for the work that you do. Profits are the results of buying something for one price and selling it for a higher price. Millionaires are in the sales business. If you depend on wages for your income, then your income will always be extremely limited. If you learn to earn profits, then the sky is the limit. It's been said that over 90% of the people who make more than $100,000 a year are in some form of sales, and I believe this to be true. All my multi-millionaire friends and mentors work for profits. Not one of them works for wages. I would say that I would confirm that. I do not know any millionaires or any even high six-figure earners where it comes from a salary. Again, like I said, I've known some doctors, anesthesiologists, and some executive types who, making that 400-ish grand a year. But again, that's not millionaires. And that's not, in our space, that's not a ton of money. There's a lot of people making 400 grand a year. All right. Problem is, they have to trade their time for it. So some of the people I've coached, I said this in my mastermind group a couple months ago, was there was a new guy there and super cool guy, but he was talking about how he was a graphic designer and he charges $100 an hour. I was like, okay, cool, $100 an hour. But what I had to show him was and I don't know if I used this exact phrasing, but essentially the only way to level up is to switch from charging your service from hourly, even though it's high hourly, oh, $100 an hour, wouldn't that be cool? The only way to go to that next level is you have to stop charging hourly and charge per project. So if you charged hourly, man, it ties you to the client. There's a lot of things where it takes away your freedom, and it's actually not that great financially, $100 an hour, but you might go long gaps in between it. And when you charge $100 an hour, the person buying from you starts to do math and starts to think through it. And what if he does this? It just does it messes with your sales. Let's put it that way. But when you start to charge per project and you pick we'll call it a minimum wage for yourself, we joke, but we'd say, okay, I don't do projects for less than $3,500. Well, it doesn't matter if that project takes you 5 hours or if it takes you 50, you charge $3,500 per project. This is the only way to begin to get out and up to another level financially, right? The middle class charge per hour, the wealthy charge per project is another way of saying what he's saying here. So helping that person, I've helped several other people make that transition as well from charging hourly to per project. I remember when I had to make that decision and I started charging per project. When I would build out someone's sales funnel or write their sales copy for them or write a webinar for them. When I would do these things, when I started charging per project is when the finances start to go up, up, up. And what's cool is you show up better. Man, you do a better job when you charge per project. You bring your A++ game. I mean, that's what he's saying, just in a different way. Now, he talks about when he was in high school, the conditioning of society got me to think and thought I needed to go look for a job because that's what everyone said I should do. For nearly 10 years, I worked for wages and was never satisfied with the money I made. It always bothered me when I saw the amount of taxes taken out each paycheck. During those 10 years, I did buy and sell a few other things to make money on the side. For instance, and he talks about some of the stories here. Meanwhile, I kept working for wages because my middle class mentality told me that's what I was supposed to do. Now, I've thought about this for a long time. And even as, here you go, let me just, there's this one more point I wanted to hit. You see, when you work for wages, they can only increase gradually. When you work for profits, you have the potential of increasing your income dramatically in a short amount of time. Millionaires work for profits. The middle class work for wages. And what he was getting at, and what I want you to see, is the best case scenarios aren't that great when you're working for wages. Oh man, but I can make, people will be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna move down to Dallas so I can make 6 figures. Man, if I work there and stay there for 4 or 5 years, the manager said I could be making $100,000. And I'm like, do some math, bro. All right. First off, you're moving your family from a church where they are thriving spiritually. They have friends. Your wife has friends here, family here. Y'all are plugged in. You are doing God's work. They're serving at the church, playing on the soccer teams and the ballet, and you're going to rip them from all of that so you could selfishly just go to make 6 figures. And listen, the cost of living there is higher. And after taxes and after your new rent on your apartment or house, you might have to get a new car. You need 2 cars because you're going to take one. She's going to take one during the day, and then to put your kids in private school. Once you do all the math, it's just paycheck to paycheck down there. It's like, okay, you made a little bit more money, but you didn't increase your margin. You're still working for wages. Man, I hope people, they won't go invest in an online course or a coaching program, but they will go. So like, we'll go through programs that are maybe 3 months long. Maybe they cost $8,000, $10,000. But on the other side of that, 1, you have connections. 2, you got mentorship. 3, you got help with people who accelerate your business results and show you shortcuts, how to accelerate things. You won't do that, but because that's a scam, right? But you will go back to school for 2 years because your boss says if you get this other degree or add on this bachelor, I actually don't know how degrees work. You add on this bachelor, bachelorette, whatever you do, however you get like a little extra degree, minor, major, whatever, add this thing on And then you can qualify and bump up to senior level, and you could get to 75 grand a year. Some guys, one guy has been there, he's been there for 15 years. He's making 6 figures. He's making $100,000. You'll go do that. You'll go back to school for 2 years, go back into debt, spend all that time away from your family just to maybe make 75 grand a year at some stupid job anyway that you're not passionate about, that you're just doing because you're stuck in it because you got so much debt over here too. You know I get riled up on this topic, guys. I'm trying to get you to think different. I'm trying to get you to think outside the box. I'm trying to show you that what you think is this dream life, it's not that great. I've had those higher paying jobs. All right. I've done the thing where, man, I'm about to quit and I tell my boss I'm thinking about it. He gives me a raise and I'm cool for like 3 months, 2 months, 3 months around there, kind of pacifies me. But then those same feelings of I got to do something with my life. I got to go bigger, faster, higher. I got to go. What am I doing here? I'm spend all day. Man, this dude tells me when I have to be at work, which means that tells me when I need to go to sleep the night before so that I can wake up on time. And then I got to go here. And then he tells me when I can take a lunch. And then he tells me my worth and how much money I can make. There's a cap on it. And, am I getting through to you guys in these? Let me know. Are you guys seeing this? It's basically a middle class mentality trap. It's the trap of the middle class. No one in the church space, in the Christian space, is telling you about this. I am. I'm your friend. There's a better way to live. You do not have to be in the rat race. We have the divine financial advantage. We have the divine life advantage. We got the Holy Spirit with us. You can ask him. Did you know that? You could ask him for increase and ask him for strategies for increase. God, I'm not satisfied with how much I'm making over here, to be honest with you. There's a difference between being content and satisfied. Did you know that? I'm very content. I've always been content. I've always been happy, thrilled, and grateful. I wouldn't say thrilled. I've always been happy and grateful. But that does not mean I've been satisfied. See, God wired us for growth and expansion. That's the whole thing we're supposed to do here is expand the kingdom. A king's domain. That's what kings do. Kings take new territory. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Remember the original commandment? God made man. He blessed him. And then said, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, fill the earth, subdue, and dominate. Go read it in the Message translation. It says, prosper and take charge. A lot of us aren't prospering. Definitely ain't taking charge. Definitely not subduing anything. Definitely not dominating everything. We're just showing up like zombies, clocking in, clocking out, hoping that we can make 6 figures one day and get some money in a 401k so that when I'm 70 years old, I can live a life of travel for 10 years. And look, I subscribe that we've got 100 years of time while we're deployed on this earth. Actually, the Bible says we can live up to be 120 if you want to. So we got 120 years. According to man's wisdom, the average lifespan is something like 78 years old. So you're telling me the dream is for you to work at a job you can tolerate or hate. Best you tolerate it until you're 65, 66, 68 years old. And then you retire with a meager pension and maybe you got $2 million saved in your 401k, but you're afraid to spend it. You don't want to use it all. You're afraid you're going to run out of it before you die. So you're super scared to spend that too. So this is the dream. You're 65 years old. You got about 13 years left to live. And you've got a bunch of scared money. And you're going to go travel. What are we doing? Like, this is not the dream, guys. This is not the dream. I'm trying to get you in the dream. That's why you got to subscribe to this channel. That's why you got to get this stuff in you. Go back and binge listen to all my other episodes, especially in this particular series where we're talking about the distinctions between the middle class mindset and the millionaire mindset. It's the battlefield of the mind, the famous Joyce Meyer book. It's a great book. She's absolutely right. It's Proverbs 23. It talks about, as a man thinketh, so is he. Man, the way you can see yourself is the way you will live. It determines the results that you're going to get. Love you guys. I hope this is helping you. I hope this is getting through. Let me know in the comments. You're saying, Trav, this is helping me. Thank you. You're pointing out things I didn't know I had there. Mindsets I didn't know I had. Strongholds I didn't know were there. All right. So I want you to be thinking, how can I shift to creating profits versus just trading my time for dollars? Again, quick example. One of my offers is back in the day is I had a unique strategy that really helped people, real estate agents and mortgage lenders. I helped them get new leads. using Facebook and a couple chatbot cool things, right? It was awesome. It was great. But what's happening is I'd close a deal and then I'd have to go build it. And I'd still be trading my time for dollars. I flipped that. I hired somebody to do the build out for me, trained him, and then could pay him $250 every time I got a new client. And then I'd tell him, hey, don't let me know this client exists. I need you to do all the support with the client. I need you to do the build out. And I'd pay you, here's a chunk of money. I increased my prices. I took a big chunk of money. And instead of trading my time, I started trading I guess you could say, my service or the thing I created for profits. Started charging per project versus per hour. Seems subtle, it'll drastically change how you think. Because now I've got a repeatable system. Now I can take on as many people as I want. I can make big chunks of money quick. I think I was charging $3,500 to $4,500 on most of those. So I remember making about $8,800 before 9 a.m. one day. 2 deals closed that I weren't expecting to close that day. Before 9 a.m., I already made about, what did I say, like 8,800, 9 grand, around there. Before 9 a.m. So fast it can go. If I was working for hours, if I was trading my time for wages, even if I was charging $100 an hour, you couldn't do that. It would take you a long time to make that $9,000. See how you can apply this today. Take action on this. Take time, think on it, strategize on it, ask the Lord for wisdom on this, and start thinking, how can I work for profit, not work for wages? Love you guys. See you in the next one.